Do you sometimes feel your prayers lack depth, as if your heart is speaking but your soul isn't listening? Have you ever said the words, Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum, and paused to truly reflect on their meaning? These aren't just names, they are lifelines. They hold a power that can revive the spirit, awaken the soul, and transform your connection with Allah. But how many of us truly feel their impact? Let me ask you something. What do you do when your heart feels heavy with worries? Or when life's burdens weigh you down? Do you rush through your prayers, hoping for peace, yet find yourself just as restless afterward? What if I told you that the key to unlocking the life and energy your prayers need lies in these two names of Allah, Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum? They are not mere words. They are a plea, a conversation, a cry from the depths of your heart to the one who never abandons you. Think about this for a moment. Allah is the ever-living. Everything you see, everything you feel, exists because He gives it life. And not only does He create, but He sustains. He is the one holding the entire universe together, moment by moment. Now imagine calling upon Him with full understanding of what these names mean and letting that truth fill your heart during prayer. How different would your connection to Allah feel? Let me share something even more profound. Scholars often say that when you truly understand these names, Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum, your entire perspective on life and prayer changes. They breathe life into your worship, turning mechanical rituals into heartfelt conversations. They remind you that no matter how broken you feel, Allah is the one who heals. No matter how lost you are, He is the one who guides. And here's a thought. When was the last time you called on these names, not out of habit, but out of desperation, out of love, or out of pure trust in Allah's mercy? Share your thoughts in the comments, because these are the moments that define our faith, the moments where we surrender fully to Allah and let His power transform our hearts. Today, we will explore what makes these names so powerful and how they can bring life to your prayers. Let's start by reflecting on the meaning of Ya Hayyu, the ever-living, and how it reminds us that our every breath is a gift from Allah. Are you ready to take the first step in reviving your connection with Him? 1. The meaning and power of Ya Hayyu. Ya Hayyu means the ever-living. These words are a declaration that Allah is the source of all life, the one who has always existed and will always exist. Unlike us, who depend on food, water, and rest to survive, Allah's existence is independent of anything. He is eternal, unchanging, and beyond time. But what does this mean for you when you call upon Him with these words? It means you are calling upon the one who holds the very essence of life in His hands. Think about your own life for a moment. Every breath you take, every beat of your heart is because of Allah's will. Even when you sleep, He sustains you. When you wake, He allows your eyes to open. The life you live, the people you love, the world around you, all of it is a reflection of Ya Hayyu. Without Him there is no life, and yet how often do we take these blessings for granted? How often do we pause and say, Ya Allah, You are the one who gives me life. I am nothing without You. Let me share a story that reflects the beauty of this name. There was once a man who had reached a point of despair. He had lost his family, his wealth, and even his health. Every day, he would sit in silence, feeling as though his life had no purpose. One day, an elderly man passed by and saw him. He gently said, "Why do you sit here as if your life is over? Have you forgotten the one who gave you life to begin with? Say Ya Hayyu, and remember that your existence is a sign of His mercy." At first the man was hesitant, but he began to whisper, "Ya Hayyu, Ya Hayyu." Slowly he found the strength to stand up, to hope again, and to trust that Allah, the ever-living, could breathe new life into his heart. That man's circumstances didn't change overnight, but his heart did. He realized that as long as Allah sustains him, there is always hope. When you say Ya Hayyu, you are acknowledging that Allah's life-giving power extends not only to your body, but also to your soul. How many times has your heart felt lifeless, filled with worry, sadness, or regret? These words are a reminder that Allah can revive your soul, no matter how broken it feels. Just as He gives life to the barren earth with rain, He can bring life to a weary heart with His mercy. Ya Hayyu is also a call for strength. When you feel weak, these words remind you that Allah's strength is perfect and eternal. You are not alone in your struggles because the one who is ever living is always with you. He sees you, He hears you, and He understands what you are going through better than anyone else. Calling on Ya Hayyu is like asking Allah to give you the life, energy, and purpose you need to face each day. So the next time you say Ya Hayyu, let it be more than a whisper. Let it be a cry from your heart. Let it be a reminder that the one you are calling upon is not distant or detached. He is the ever-living, the source of all life, and He is closer to you than you can imagine. These words have the power to breathe life into your prayers and your soul, reviving the connection between you and your Creator. 2. The meaning and power of Ya Qayyum. Ya Qayyum means the sustainer. It is a declaration that Allah is the one who keeps everything in existence, maintaining and providing for the entire universe without any effort or rest. When you say Ya Qayyum, you are calling on the one who not only created you, but ensures that every part of your life is held together by His will. It is a reminder that nothing can stand, survive, or thrive without His care. Think about the complexity of the world around you. The earth rotates perfectly, the sun rises and sets, the seasons change, and every living creature is provided for. All of this happens because Allah sustains it. But here's something even more personal. He sustains you. Every cell in your body functions because He commands it to. Your heart beats, your lungs breathe, your mind thinks, all because Allah, the sustainer, wills it. Without Him, nothing could exist for even a moment. Now imagine this. A child walking on a narrow, rocky path stumbles and nearly falls, but their parent catches them, steadying them and helping them walk again. This is what Ya Qayyum means for us. Allah is the one who catches us when we stumble, who supports us when we feel like we can't go on, and who carries us through life's difficulties. No matter how unstable life feels, calling on Ya Qayyum reminds us that Allah is the unshakable foundation holding us steady. There's a beautiful story about a man who had lost everything in a sudden tragedy: his wealth, his home, and his business. Struggling to make sense of his losses, he sought the advice of a wise scholar. The scholar listened quietly and then said, "Do you know why Allah is called Al-Qayyum?" The man shook his head. The scholar continued, "It is because He is the one who holds everything in place, even when your life feels like it's falling apart. Your wealth didn't sustain you, your home didn't sustain you, and even your business didn't sustain you. It was Allah all along. Say Ya Qayyum and ask Him to sustain your heart while He rebuilds your life." The man began to call on Allah with these words daily, and though his losses were still fresh, he felt a calmness settle over his heart. He realized that as long as Allah sustains him, he has everything he needs. Ya Qayyum is not just a call for material support, it's a call for spiritual stability. How often do our hearts feel overwhelmed by the weight of life? Responsibilities, fears, regrets, and uncertainties can shake us to our core. When you say Ya Qayyum, you're asking Allah to steady your heart, to strengthen your resolve, and to help you stand firm in the face of life's challenges. These words are a reminder that no matter how unsteady the ground feels beneath your feet, Allah's support never wavers. This name of Allah also teaches us humility. We often think we are self-sufficient, that we can handle everything on our own. But the truth is, we depend on Allah for everything, even the things we don't realize. By calling on Ya Qayyum, we acknowledge that we are in constant need of His help, His guidance, and His mercy. And in that acknowledgement, we find peace. Letting go of the illusion of control and trusting the Sustainer brings relief to a weary heart. Reflect on this. Have you ever faced a moment where you felt like you couldn't take another step? Maybe it was a time of financial hardship, a health crisis, or an emotional burden that felt unbearable. Who helped you through it? Who provided the strength, the means, or the people who supported you? It was Allah, the Qayyum, sustaining you even when you didn't realize it. So when you say Ya Qayyum, let it be a reminder that your life, your blessings, and even your challenges are held in the hands of the one who never lets go. These words are a plea for support, for stability, and for Allah's unshakable care. They bring peace to a restless heart and strength to a weary soul. 3. How Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum revives the heart. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum is not just a pair of names, it is a spiritual lifeline. Together they remind us of Allah's unmatched power as the ever-living and the sustainer. When you call on these names, you are asking Allah to not only guide your life, but to bring your heart back to life, especially when it feels numb, heavy, or distant. These names have a unique ability to breathe life into a weary soul, filling it with hope, energy, and renewed purpose.
Think about this. Have you ever felt so weighed down by life that it seemed as though your heart had no more strength to feel? Maybe you went through the motions of your day, eating, working, and speaking. But inside, everything felt lifeless. This is a feeling many people experience, and it's one that Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum speaks directly to. These names carry the power to revive a heart that feels deadened by the struggles of life. There's a well-known story of a man who came to a scholar, deeply troubled. "My heart feels lifeless," he said. "I pray, but I feel no connection. I speak, but my words feel hollow. What can I do?" The scholar responded, "Repeat these words. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum. Say them with your heart, not just your tongue. These are the names that bring life back to your soul, because they remind you of the one who gives life and sustains it." The man followed this advice, and over time, he began to feel a transformation. His prayers became more meaningful, his heart softened, and his faith deepened. He realized that his numbness wasn't permanent. Allah, through these names, had revived his heart. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum also teaches us that even in moments of despair, there is always hope. When life feels overwhelming and you don't know where to turn, these words remind you that Allah is both the source and the sustainer of life. He has the power to heal wounds you thought would never close, and to fill your heart with peace when it feels like chaos surrounds you. When you say, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, you are also declaring your dependence on Allah. This act of surrender, of admitting that you need His help to revive your heart, is deeply powerful. It opens the door for Allah's mercy to flow into your life. It's as if you are saying, Ya Allah, my heart is tired. I need you to restore it. I cannot do this on my own. And Allah, in His infinite mercy, responds to this call, giving you the strength to carry on. These names also carry a reminder of balance. Ya Hayyu reminds us of Allah's eternal presence, while Ya Qayyum reminds us that He is actively involved in every aspect of our lives. Together, they remind us that Allah is not distant. He is close, sustaining us in every moment and bringing life to our hearts when we feel empty. Think of the moments in your life when your heart has felt heavy. Perhaps it was after losing someone you loved, facing a failure, or simply feeling like you were stuck in a cycle of monotony. Did you ever pause and ask Allah to revive your heart? These names are the perfect way to do so. They remind you that Allah's mercy and love are greater than any sadness you feel. He can take the pieces of a broken heart and make it whole again. So, the next time your heart feels numb, remember Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum. Say it with sincerity. Let it flow from your soul, and trust in Allah to breathe life into your heart. These words are not just a call, they are a cure. They remind us that no matter how far we feel from Allah, He is always near, ready to revive our hearts and fill them with His light. 4. Deepening connection in prayer with Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum. When was the last time you truly felt connected during prayer? Not just saying the words, but feeling them deeply in your heart. Many of us struggle with this. We stand, we bow, and we recite, but our minds are elsewhere. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum has the power to change this. These names of Allah bring life to your prayer by anchoring your heart to His presence. They remind you that prayer is not a routine. It is a conversation with the One who gives you life and sustains you every moment. Prayer, at its core, is meant to be a refuge. It is a moment to pause and reconnect with Allah, to remind ourselves that despite the chaos of the world, we are standing before the Creator who controls everything. When you say, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum in prayer, you are reminding yourself of two essential truths. Allah is the ever-living, always present, and the sustainer, always providing for you. These truths ground you, making you feel seen, heard, and supported. Let me share a story of a woman who struggled with prayer for years. She described it as a chore, something she rushed through because she felt no connection. One day, after a particularly difficult period in her life, she came across the names Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum. A scholar explained their meanings to her, that Allah is the source of all life and the one who sustains everything. Something clicked in her heart. The next time she prayed, she paused after saying these words, allowing their meaning to sink in. Tears filled her eyes as she realized she wasn't standing alone. She was speaking directly to the One who had been with her through every moment of her life. From that day on, her prayers changed. They became a source of comfort and strength, a time to reconnect with the ever-living and the sustainer of her heart. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum reminds us that prayer is not just about asking for things. It's about remembering who Allah is and how deeply we depend on Him. When you call on Him with these names, you're acknowledging that every heartbeat, every breath, every ounce of strength you have comes from Him. This realization shifts your focus. Instead of rushing through your prayer, you begin to savor it. Each word feels more meaningful because you're aware of who you're speaking to. These names also help you let go of distractions. How often do worldly worries invade your prayer? Thoughts about work, family, or things you need to do later. When you say, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, it's like hitting a reset button. These words bring your attention back to Allah, reminding you that He is greater than any worry you're carrying. They help you let go, trusting that the Sustainer will take care of everything, freeing your heart to focus on worship. 5. Strengthening trust in Allah with Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum. Trust is one of the hardest things to hold on to when life feels unstable. When we face uncertainty, fear, or hardship, our natural instinct is to try to take control, to find solutions, or to worry endlessly. But the truth is, we cannot control everything. This is where the power of Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum comes in. These names teach us to let go of our fears and place our trust in Allah, the ever-living and the sustainer. Think about it. If Allah is the one who gave you life and the one who sustains everything in existence, doesn't it make sense to rely on Him completely? He sees what you cannot see. He knows what lies ahead, and he holds the power to turn even the most hopeless situation into something beautiful. When you say, Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum, you are declaring that you trust him to take care of you, no matter how uncertain or difficult life feels. Let me share a story of a man who faced a situation that seemed impossible. He was a merchant who had invested everything he had into a shipment of goods. But during the journey, a storm hit, and the ship carrying his goods sank. He lost everything in a single moment. Devastated, he sat on the shore, watching the waves, and whispered, Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum. He repeated these words over and over, not as a complaint, but as a surrender. Ya Allah, he prayed, you are the one who gave me everything I had, and you are the one who can give it back. I trust you. Days later, he received news that a part of his shipment had been miraculously saved, and over time, he rebuilt his business. But he would later say that the real gift was not the goods he recovered. It was the peace he found in trusting Allah during his darkest hour. Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum, he said, taught me that Allah's plans are always better than mine, even when I don't understand them. When you call on Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum, you are not just asking Allah for help. You are acknowledging that He is in control. This is a powerful act of surrender. It doesn't mean you stop trying or give up on your efforts. It means you do your best while trusting that Allah will take care of the rest. This trust brings a sense of peace, knowing that you are not alone, and that the one who sustains the heavens and the earth is sustaining you as well. These names also help us navigate fear. Fear often comes from focusing on what we might lose or what might go wrong. But Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum shifts our focus to Allah's power and mercy. It reminds us that nothing happens without His permission, and that His wisdom is perfect. Even in the midst of hardship, these words reassure us that Allah's plan is always for our ultimate good. Imagine facing a situation that fills you with anxiety, maybe a difficult decision, an uncertain future, or a problem you can't solve. Now imagine pausing, closing your eyes, and saying, Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum, with full awareness of their meaning. These words remind you that Allah is the one who brought you here, and that He will guide you through it. They replace your fear with trust, and your anxiety with peace. Reflect on your own life. How many times have you faced challenges that seemed insurmountable, only to look back later and realize that Allah had a plan all along? Every time you whispered a prayer, every time you called out to Him, He was listening. Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum is a way of reminding yourself that Allah's care for you is constant, even when you cannot see it. 6. Healing the heart and soul with Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum. There are moments in life when the heart feels shattered, when pain, grief, or regret weighs so heavily that it feels impossible to breathe. In those moments, we often wonder if healing is even possible. This is where Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum becomes a source of immense comfort and renewal. These names remind us that the one who gives life and sustains it is also the one who can heal even the deepest wounds in our hearts and souls. Hola a todos. Soy el narrador y estoy aquí para ayudarte a dormir plácidamente. Antes de comenzar con nuestra historia, cuéntame en los comentarios desde dónde nos estás viendo y qué hora es allí. También estaré muy agradecido si le das like y te suscribes. Así podremos encontrarnos todos los días. Hans.
These names also help us let go of distractions during worship. When you stand in prayer and say, Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum, you remind yourself that nothing else matters in that moment except your connection with Allah. The worries of the world, the plans for tomorrow, the struggles of the day, all of them fade away as you focus on the one who is sustaining you even as you pray. This shift in focus brings a sense of peace and presence, making your worship feel more genuine and fulfilling. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum also deepens our gratitude in worship. When you call on Allah with these names, you are acknowledging His role in every blessing you have. You are thanking Him for the life He has given you and for the countless ways He sustains you every day. This gratitude fills your heart, making your worship not just an obligation, but a sincere expression of love and appreciation. Think about the last time you felt truly connected during worship. What made that moment different? Chances are it was because your heart was fully present. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum helps you cultivate that presence by reminding you of Allah's greatness and your complete reliance on Him. It transforms worship from a task to a privilege, from a habit to a heartfelt act of devotion. When you say these names in prayer, let them be a moment of reflection. Remind yourself that you are standing before the ever-living, who sees every intention in your heart. Remind yourself that you are speaking to the Sustainer who has given you the strength to stand in prayer. Let this awareness bring humility to your heart, focus to your mind, and sincerity to your worship. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum is more than just a phrase. It is a key to unlocking a deeper connection with Allah, transforming your heart and bringing life to every aspect of your worship. These names are not simply words to recite. They are a lifeline to cling to in times of joy, sorrow, fear, and hope. They remind us of Allah's eternal presence and active care in our lives, no matter how distant or lost we may feel. When you call on Ya Hayyu, you are reminding yourself that Allah is the source of all life, the one who was and will always be. He is the one who never tires, never fades, and never abandons His creation. And when you call on Ya Qayyum, you are turning to the Sustainer, the one who holds your entire existence in His hands, ensuring that every breath you take and every step you walk is under His divine care. These names carry within them the power to bring healing to a broken heart, strength to a weary soul, and direction to a lost spirit. They teach us to trust Allah completely, even when life feels uncertain. They teach us to be sincere in our worship, recognizing that prayer is not about routine, but about standing in awe before the one who gives us life and sustains us in every moment. And they teach us to let go of fear, knowing that Allah's mercy and guidance are always near. Think about your life. How many times have you faced moments of doubt, pain, or confusion? How often have you felt overwhelmed by responsibilities or paralyzed by fear? In those moments, the names Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum offer you hope. They remind you that no matter how heavy your burdens feel, Allah's strength is infinite. They remind you that no matter how dark your path seems, Allah's guidance is always available. And they remind you that even when you feel forgotten by the world, you are never forgotten by Allah. As we close, let this be a moment of reflection. Ask yourself, have I truly embraced the meaning of Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum in my life? Have I allowed these names to transform my prayers, heal my heart, and deepen my trust in Allah? If the answer is no, then today is the perfect time to begin. Start by saying these names with sincerity, letting their meaning settle in your heart. Watch how they bring calm to your mind, strength to your soul, and a renewed connection with your Creator. Remember, these names are not just for moments of hardship. They are for every moment, reminding you to turn to Allah in gratitude during times of ease and in trust during times of struggle. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum is a constant reminder that Allah is with you, sustaining you, guiding you and loving you, even when you don't see it.